a good man, isn't he?
And quality, yeah. Really good.
Next contest is in the Super-Middleweight division, consisting of 6 junior rounds. First introduction to the format, wearing the Greenwood shorts, the first man is Charles, taking part in the 6th professional round, Goodwin in Sussex, as in James Joe. As in the opponent in the record, wearing blue, white and red shorts, a place against number 13 and 3/4 bands. The professional fight, 3 rings and 2 losses, following from the number, that is the Greenwood. 6 junior rounds represented by the design social.
Light heavyweight encounter scheduled for 6-2 between the improving Kevin Greenwood and the so far winless James Childs. Not that you'd know it, given how quite fast Childs has come out.
I'm really intrigued by this fight, Bennett. I thought it was really good. I mean, James, as you said, Child hasn't won a pro contest as of yet, but was a very good amateur. 26 fights, he won 20 of them, 19 of them being by knockout. So he can bang, certainly in the amateurs. He hasn't been able to turn it into the pros yet, and always been a bit of an athlete. He was also a Newcastle United footballing prospect. Some good shots here.
Both guys have come out throwing big shots in the early stages here.
And I think that's why I was looking forward to this fight. Obviously, Greenwood has been improving, as you said. He lost his first 2 and his second one in particular to what would be called a journeyman, but he's got 3 on the bounce now, and he is hugely improved under Len Butcher, who's doing great work with him here. But Charles has really come to have a tear up, and he likes to have a tear up.
It's intriguing, given the start Charles has had to his professional career, he's lost his first fight. You might think he'd settle down into a journeyman mentality, but given how he's come out, he desperately wants that first win.
Yeah, well, it's a very sort of even fight between the two of them. You've got a guy who hasn't had a win yet, and a guy who perhaps hasn't started off the best of his pro career. But I think that's looking good. Greenwood seems to have weathered that first storm at Child Co, and he seems to be getting to his boxing a little bit now and growing into the fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure Greenwood was expecting that at all.
I think if they know about Child's amateur background, winning 19 of his 20 fights by knockouts, if they've done their homework, I think they might have prepped Greenwood to know that he's likely to come out in the first round and throw it on. And Nicky Elliott in his corner.
Good response from Greenwood after a very uncomfortable first 30 seconds. He's getting his right hand going now.
Nice left uppercut and right hook there. Getting caught, Greenwood. Very good action-packed round there. How did you score that one, Ben?
I'm inclined to perhaps give it even actually. Childs certainly took the first minute. I thought Greenwood came back pretty well. The only thing I'm disappointed about is it's only 6-2s.
6-2s, exactly, yeah. It's I mean, maybe it's that, you know, learning fights and things like that, and it was a short round, but it was interesting. I would perhaps sway towards Greenwood in that fight. I think the first 30 seconds, as you said, Child come out very much looking for the stoppage to try and unsettle Greenwood, but I think Greenwood after the first 30 seconds settled down and seemed to get his box in, but it's going to be an interesting fight. 6-2s.
You mentioned before, Kevin, earlier on about whether Greenwood may have done his homework into Child's background. How common how typical is the fight is to research the opponent, or do you leave that to the trainers?
Every fight is different. Generally it's down to the trainer. I mean, the internet's a wonderful thing, although it has a lot of bad things on there, it has a lot of good things as well. So it's very hard to keep under the radar. Child come out very nice here, throwing the uppercuts and hooks here.
Yeah, it's almost a repeat of the first round.
Len Butcher is a very experienced trainer and very good, so I'm sure they would have done their homework about him. You know, very experienced and got contacts, and that's the thing about pro boxing is you can tend to find out. Nice right hands here from Greenwood.
4 right hands in succession without reply from Greenwood there.
So yeah, the circuit's a very close-knit thing, so you can tend to find out if they're UK people, you can tend to find out someone who's seen them before and get some information. It's very hard with everyone with camera phones recording everything nowadays to disappear under the radar, but again, this round's very much a similar. Started off with Child and onslaught, but Greenwood seems to have settled down to it. Nice right hands there.
Greenwood can't miss with a straight right.
Starting to tie the left hook to the body there after the right hand, which is nice to see. 2s and 3 shots. Looking for the one shot Child. Greenwood working the body nicely there.
Child seems to be capable of fighting in short flurries.
Very much the first 30 seconds by the looks of it, and you know, maybe this is where he got his knockout wins in the amateurs very early. I don't know much about his amateur pedigree, just that having read that he got a lot of them by stoppage. So I was really looking for a nice 1-2 there from Greenwood. Lovely.
Certainly the extra class seems to be with Greenwood in this fight.
It's quite commendable really to see how Greenwood's improved. I know he had a lot of personal problems during his first 2 fights, and Steve Goodwin was quoted the other day saying if he'd have known, lovely right hands there from Greenwood. Steve Goodwin was quoted last week saying that if he'd have known the problems that Greenwood was going through at the time, he wouldn't have let him fight. So, you know, hats off to Kevin for lovely right hand left hook there. Seemed to stun Child.
Yeah, Child just seemed dazed there by the left hook to the temple. And he's not throwing back, but he just responded at the end of the round. Needed to there.
Another good round. Very good fight. Both blokes coming to fight, both blokes coming to win. Again, I think Greenwood, after the first 20 to 30 seconds, eased into the round. Much going to work. That straight right hand is getting through the guard of Child, and I have Greenwood 2 rounds ahead at the moment.
Yeah, I think the first round was close, and I think there's beyond dispute Greenwood took the second round.
It'll be interesting to see whether Child comes out in the 3rd round very much the same stamp as he has the first 2. I wonder if in the first 30 seconds he'll...
Maybe he'll vary it up. He might wait till the end of the round. Speak Greenwood by surprise.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know what shape Child did. It'll be interesting to see if he could get himself in physical shape to sustain that kind of attack. Because for the first 30 seconds he seems to almost overwhelm Greenwood. But obviously seems that, you know, no one can keep that pace up for the whole round, and I appreciate that, but it'd be interesting to see whether he can have 2 or 3 bursts of that throughout a round, whether that would be better for him going forward.
Well, more sedate opening to round 3 after a whirlwind opening first 2 rounds.
Just as you said that there, they're both fighters trade hooks. Nice 1-2 establishing for Greenwood, that's working very well. The nice straight shots down the middle. Greenwood's a very rangy fighter, he's got nice long arms. Looks at a 1-2 and then looking to bring that left hook round.
He's very rangy. Kevin reminds me a bit of a Steve O'Meara type in terms of his physique, and he likes to box at range.
Yeah, I mean, Steve O'Meara is a class operator, and yeah, so I can see the comparisons you're making, but I'm impressed with Kevin. I'm impressed with Kevin from what he's done, pulled himself around, and this round, he hasn't had to survive the onslaught, and he's controlling this round nicely at the moment. Keeps looking for that left hook to the body, just behind Charles' right elbow. And he can't seem to miss that straight right hand down the middle. Nice shot there.
Child looking very tired now. He's occasionally tried to switch his focus to the body, but I'm not anticipating a strong flurry from Child now, but maybe he'll surprise us.
Well, this maybe explains why he won a lot of amateur fights, and oh, nice overhand right there from Greenwood. Maybe explains why Charles doesn't pick up the win yet, and he doesn't seem to have the work rate to sustain during the rounds. He's obviously got the power if he has stopped the amount of people in the amateurs he has done, so he can obviously bang. Because stoppages in the amateurs are harder to come by than in the pros. But he just doesn't seem to have the gas in the tank to be able to sustain an attack. And bearing in mind, Ben, that we're fighting 2-minute rounds.
Absolutely. Dominant round 3 by Kevin Greenwood.
Yeah, he's got to be very impressed. I think Glenn Butcher in the corner and Greenwood will be very comfortable and very pleased so far that they're 3 rounds down and 3 rounds ahead.
Goes to show you as well. I mean, we were talking off air earlier about there's a lot of good fighters who've lost their unbeaten record, and just because you might lose one or your first 2, there's no key to what could happen going forward. You know, all fighters mature at different ages.
Yeah, as you say, we were talking earlier. I think too much is put on unbeaten records in boxing and everything else like that. You know, as you see from Conquest in the last fight. You know, a loss doesn't mean you're a bad fighter. It doesn't mean that you're overnight a shot fighter. You know, we've got to get realistic. This is strong men, tough men, throwing leather at your chin. If you get caught, you can get knocked out. And yeah, you can lose. And I always use a football reference to explain it. You know, Manchester United were the champions of football last year, but if they lose a game, they don't automatically become a bad football team. They just lose a game. But yeah, a fighter seems to lose a fight, and all of a sudden he's lost something about his thing, and I think that's wrong. I think, you know, it's boxing. Things can happen. Things can turn in one punch, and you know, sometimes records can be misleading, as Greenwood is proving to people right now. Trade shots there.
Jolting right hand from Greenwood, right on Charles' chin, but he took it well.
So this is the attack that Charles is doing now. It's on stop by again. Greenwood, I think, is doing the cleaner work, looking for that straight right hand. Charles dropping his hand now, just a little bit too far out there, attacking with a jab. I have been impressed with Greenwood's work rate in this though. You know, we're into the 4th round now. I know it's 2 minutes, but he's kept up a nice steady pace. You know, constant pressure, and that's got to be pleasing for him in his corner.
It's like one famous trainer once said, whose name escapes me, it can be quite tiring beating someone up. You know, Greenwood really is sustaining quite a heavy work rate here.
Absolutely, yeah, he's doing well. He's you know, something's going on Charles' glove, but he's getting through with some, and it's, like I say, he seems to be in really, really good shape, Kevin, and I think he's showing here.
A bit more from Child in this round. He was he's giving it a go without much success so far though.
Okay, looking for that big left hand is Child, but I say Greenwood see it coming and managed to roll underneath it. Just mentioned about the heads there, the heads coming together as they're in close. Child's come back with a flurry we were talking about earlier, maybe. Oh, it's a nice right hand from Greenwood, lovely. A lazy left hook by Charles there, and he got caught with Greenwood. He seems to have Greenwood backed up there. And
just when there's a glimpse that Child might get a foothold in the fight, back comes Greenwood and takes the fight away.
Well, it was a nice flurry from Charles there, backing up, and I thought he'd listen to you, Ben. You'd asked him at the beginning of this round for him to come on a little bit stronger towards the end of the round, and he did exactly that.
Close around though. Close around, yeah?
Yeah, close around. I still score it for Greenwood. I still think he had the majority of the round and did the cleaning work. It's the common last 30 seconds. It's always the ref and the judges seem to remember the last 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds can be so important to get the round, and I think that's what Charles done there. But I think over the round there, I still think Greenwood was the cleaner work and deserves the round.
Are you a fan of the 2 round 2-minute round duration, Kevin, or not?
I think it's to move from 4 rounds to 6 rounds could be a big change, and the 6-2s is a kind of a medium way in between, and I see no problem with it. You don't tend to see it an awful lot, but they don't tend to stay at 6-2s for very long. But it's a good transition. I have no problem with it. I'm quite a fan of it if both fighters are in agreement to it. Sometimes I think it makes for better fights because I think they know that they've got the 2 minutes so they can go at it a little bit more. Lovely shots from Childs there, uppercut and then the right hooks to follow.
Yep. James Child is still in this fight. He might be behind on the scorecards. He will need a knockout almost certainly to win, but he's not without hope here.
Well, certainly the way we've seen it, we think Child needs at very least a knockdown or a knockout to win this fight. And again, he started this round of a good throw there, but credit to Greenwood, he took it very well there. And Greenwood's back establishing himself like he has done in the other rounds. Child looking for that same uppercut hook combination that he caught Greenwood with early in the round. Left hook getting through there.
And Greenwood's still winning the fight, but he's less dominant than earlier though.
And another left hook he eating this. That's 2 or 3 in this round that he's taken. So Child is definitely getting through more this round.
Yeah. Plot is definitely thickening here. James Child's best spell, perhaps since the opening 30 seconds of the fight.
And maybe we was talking in the last round about how Greenwood set a really big pace, and maybe that is playing advantage to him there, but he answers back there with a nice little flurry 3-shot combination.
Oh,
nice. Greenwood looking for angles there, moving round. 2 shots got through. What a good fight. Nice left hook getting through, and the right hand back from Greenwood. They're having a go, Ben.
Yeah, I could definitely watch this one again. Fantastic effort by both guys.
We said before the fight was looking into this, it was a very sort of even fight in strange ways.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, although Kevin's won his last 3 and James hasn't won, it's perhaps not a massive deal between them.
It's sort of equalled the amount of fights they've had. Okay, Kevin's say come off the back of 3 wins at the moment, but it turned into a good fight that we thought it may be. I think it's a very, very close round this round.
Well, actually, I'm just scored out for James Child. I think he just edged that one.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think he got the cleaner work in that time. Greenwood's work rate tended to drop a little bit in that round, and I think Child took advantage of that.
That's not great for Greenwood. I've got Greenwood winning 3 rounds. I think he gave his first share, and James Child that round there. So he needs, I think, undoubtedly, James needs a big, big finish though now.
Yeah, I've got Greenwood's 4-1 up going into this. I think he won the first 4 and obviously give Child that last one. Child needs to go for it in this round. He's got 2 minutes. He hasn't had a win yet. I think he's got to go, for everything but the kitchen sink at him in this round to try and get the win, because he seems to have the power, and although he hasn't hurt Greenwood with any shots at the moment, he is getting through, especially in that last round. So it'll be interesting to see whether Mickey in his corner there is just firing up saying to him, have a go at this, and it could be there if you really go for this.
I tell you what, if James Child could nick a few wins, it'd be a fantastic entry for prize fighting.
Absolutely, yeah, he's got the style for that, the short thing. The question marks may be over his fitness and his stamina and how long he can go, and that would be the thing I would say from Child going forward from this, is he can't seem to sustain an attack for very long, even in the 2-minute rounds.
Sixth and final round then of a very entertaining scrap between James Child and Kevin Greenwood.
I've been impressed with Greenwood, as I said before. He's worked very well. It's a good work rate. Only in that 5th round he dropped the work rate a little bit, but nice shots there, trading shots. A right hand for Greenwood and a left hand for Child. And Greenwood could really be used as a learning curve for young prospects out there that maybe have had a loss, and to say, look, if you get in the gym and you improve and you dedicate to your sport, you can get wins, and it's all about grit and determination, how bad you want it. And I've only got admiration for Greenwood for how he's turned his career around and continues to turn his career around.
Good shots by Greenwood there, but back comes Child. That kind of fight, really.
Yeah, Greenwood having most of the thing with Child throwing the dangerous shots. As I said, Greenwood doesn't seem to have been hurt by any of these shots there. Nice right uppercut, left hook there. Nice straight right hand through the middle.
Both men have really earned the money this evening. Fantastic
Definitely.
effort by both.
What a great middle of the card fight for the crowd here at York Court. It's a sellout. There's a lot of people here, and what a great show! What a great show these two boys have put on for everyone. Still winging shots in. Charles looking for them hooks. Greenwood looking down the middle, and that's it. Give that one to Greenwood.
Yeah. Good win for Greenwood in the end. But James Child, but hopefully if he keeps fighting like that elusive win, he will get it eventually.
Yeah, I think Greenwood's got this. I think he easily won that. And Child again, you know, there is some things to work with Child. You know, he does do some things well, but it just needs to, in my opinion, needs to work on it so he can sustain the attack for a little bit longer than 30 seconds. And if he does that, maybe you could ask a few questions. But be interested to see how the referee scores it. We'll go and get confirmation on the scores. Domestic scrap there, very nice to see. I'd like to see more like that. Very nice to set us up for the rest of the card coming up.
Both fighters getting a well-deserved, generous round of applause from the knowledgeable crowd here at the York Hall.
I could definitely watch that again.
Good matchmaking as well.
Very much so.